Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of a horror film from the UK, English language, released in the year 2011, directed by Sean Hogan, and this film is called The Devil's Business. The Devil's Business starts off with two hitmen. They're assigned a task by their boss to go to this guy's house and take care of him. Now this boss that is organising the hit has some history with the target and now he wants him gone. So the two hitmen get there. It's a simple enough job. This guy is out. When he comes back home they're going to take care of it and they're going to go walk away. So the two hitmen start talking amongst themselves once they get into the house, and this is where they start to realise that the guy that they're sent to kill is in fact a little bit weird, and he has a makeshift voodoo sort of devil shrine in his garage. So they know that things are not going to be that simple, and pretty soon they're faced with the task of confronting their own demons and confronting the supernatural force that is building up within this house. So what happens when this guy gets back to his home, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on The Devil's Business. This movie, it's ambitious. It's a low budget movie, and I thought there were some elements that really worked well for it. I thought the director was self-aware and that it was only one setting inside this house, which I thought was good, and everything that takes place outside the house is told through dialogue. So it's the movie that makes you use your imagination. When they're telling stories, you have to think about it. You don't get told what it is by visuals. So I like that from a director. I think for a low budget movie, if they try something a little bit too ambitious, it can come across as cheap. So straight away you notice that it is lacking the money of a mega budget film, but I thought it contributed to a very uneasy feeling. And that feeling is very reminiscent of Kill List. And a lot of people aren't going to like that for that reason, because they're going to say that this is a rip-off Kill List. Now the overall idea of the film, two hitmen coming across something that they're way out of their depth, yes, that is very reminiscent of Kill List, and yes, it's not very original, but I thought this movie, it does go in a different direction once they get inside the house. So the overall idea is the same, but it's not quite the same as Kill List from their overall piece. So if you love Kill List, you might get something out of this film, because it does have the strong sense of impending doom. There's a very good atmosphere. I thought before the guy comes home, you don't know what the hell he's into, you don't know what he looks like, but you're already starting to imagine things. And that is really freaky, and it starts to send a chill down your spine, because the stuff he's into, obviously by what you see in his house, is just really spine chilling. So you think to yourself, what is this guy? What the hell is he doing? Unfortunately, when he comes home and everything is revealed, it starts to go downhill a little bit, but I thought the tension and the build-up in the first half of the film was really well done. Unfortunately, that tension does get halted a little bit by unnecessary dramatic moments where the two hitmen are talking about their lives. Unfortunately, it's just not interesting enough. I thought it is relevant to the story, because right at the end this hitman confesses something, but I thought that it would have been a lot better if they explored the house a lot more. So what you get these two hitmen that go inside the house, they have a look around, then they sit at the table and they start talking about something that does have relevance to the plot, but it doesn't have interest. I just didn't care about it too much. And yes, he's telling the story and it's a very morbid story, but I just thought to myself, I don't care enough about these hitmen. I want to see what this guy, this mysterious guy, is into. So I want to see more rooms. I want to see more disturbing things. But unfortunately, the dramatic moments do prevent that a little bit, and as a result of that, the continuity is a little bit disjointed. So that's what I didn't like about the film. And then also, once everything is revealed, it does go downhill. It does lose the build-up. It loses the suspense, and overall you feel to yourself that yes, it is a fairly well-made film for a low budget, but it did run out of ideas, and right at the end, when everything is revealed, they just didn't know how to finish it off. So right at the end there is a very spooky scene, and there are some spooky scenes throughout the entire film, but I love the suspenseful, dreaded build-up as opposed to jump scares. Right at the end there is a jump scare that I thought worked very well, but the build-up is what makes the film. But unfortunately that build-up loses steam by the end of it, and it does feel like it should have ended a lot sooner than it did. And for a 70-minute film, it's already short enough as it is, but once you feel that it outstays its welcome, then you think to yourself, well, yeah, for a 70-minute film, the continuity should have been a lot better. They should have got to the blood and guts of it very quickly, and it would have been a lot better. But unfortunately, as is the case with a lot of films, the tense build-up is what makes a film scary, but then all of a sudden, once you know what you're facing, it's not that scary, if you know what I mean. So it's the level of uncertainty that the first half of the film generates is what makes the film, and what makes the film a recommendation from me. But if you're going to dismiss this film as a Kill List ripoff, then I think that's a little bit unfair, because it, as I said, it does borrow ideas from Kill List, the hitmen, you know, as I said, the situation that they're not aware of, but it does go down a different path. And so, yeah, the overall theme to the film is similar, but to call it a rip-off kill list, I think that's a little bit unfair because it does dare to go in a different direction. So the gore effects were decent enough. You know, there's no graphic violence. It's pretty much an aftermath, but it doesn't rely on that. It relies, as I said, on the solid tension, but unfortunately it felt like a film of two halves. The second half was nowhere near as good as the first half, and as a result of that, I felt a little bit disappointed. But having said that, I didn't expect much from this film. So I thought the acting was good. The two hitmen, I liked the younger hitman. He felt like a real person to me, whereas the older hitman was a cold-hearted sort of killer. But then the characters unravel a little bit, and I thought if the characters were a lot more interesting, the dramatic moments would have worked a lot better. But you don't know too much about these guys. I thought the acting from the older guy was a little bit over the top. I didn't like him very much. His performance was a little bit disjointed. There were some moments where it did come across as natural, but there's some other moments where it was overacted. So the younger hitman is the best character, but unfortunately those characters weren't gone into enough because, yeah, once again, it is a very short film. So for this sort of film to work, it didn't need character development. What it needed was the suspense and the solid scares that a 70-minute film would warrant, because it's not enough to, you know, a 70-minute film is not enough to generate characters and create a really good horror film. So you either have one or the other. Have a dramatic film or a horror film, and when you try to combine both of them in a 70-minute long film, it just doesn't work. So overall, for The Devil's Business, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. I enjoyed it, but unfortunately it could have, you know, really should have been a lot better than it actually was. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.